So again, thank you for joining us. And the reason why the Hanlon Real Estate team, we're doing these market updates is because there's so much information in the media about what's happening in the real estate market, but they cover more of a macro level for the real estate market. They talk about what's happening in Canada, the different regions. Sometimes it's city to city, a lot of times it's city to city, but it never really gets into the communities of each of the cities. I know because it's hard to do, time consuming, and it's so detailed. So we just wanted to kind of cover the areas of ERIN Mills and Central ERIN Mills. Now, even though the Hanlon Real Estate team, we work with buyers and sellers across the entire GTA Toronto area, as well as Peel region and Halton region, we do spend a lot of our efforts and time within the ERIN Mills and Central ERIN Mills area, which is why we wanted to give you an update on what's happening. So we started these a few months ago, and we found that they're very popular with people attending, you know, the live Facebook, recorded Facebook, and our Zoom calls. So again, so we're just going to cover what's happening in the Central ERIN Mills and ERIN Mills area today. And if you are tuning in and you live outside of those areas and you're curious about what's happening in your area for the market, then please reach out to our team. You can call us at 905-271-5141, or you can email us at info@thehanlonteam.com, and we'd be happy to give you a call back or email back and answer any questions that you might have about your local market. So we're going to get started with Sean Hanlon. He's going to be talking about the market in the ERIN Mills area. So Sean, what's happening in ERIN Mills?
Great, thanks, Trina. So it's been quite a wild past 30 days. It almost seemed like over the last sort of 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, you know, things were slowly starting to progress week over week, month by month. But especially since we've gotten into July, a lot of the prices we're seeing are quite surprising. And, you know, some even record-breaking prices on some streets that, you know, we haven't seen before, even, you know, in the craziness of 2017. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we'll just get right into the content. What I'm going to start with before we get into the ERIN Mills numbers is just really what's going on in terms of showing activity. I think looking at showing activity can really tell you what's gone on in the past and maybe what's going to start coming based on the trend lines and how showing activity, especially in this case, has gone up really week by week and month by month. So this is these are numbers provided by the showing service that many of the brokerages use. And I mean, this first slide here gives you a great idea of where we're at. If you look here in the middle of March, that was when the COVID restrictions came in, and, you know, things were flat for about a month until the middle of April. And then they've just continued to rise and rise. And again, this blue trend line is our showings. And you can see where we're at now. You know, we're definitely at pre-COVID levels, and some of the days are even higher than pre-COVID levels, which is pretty amazing. I think, you know, if you're a seller, what you need to draw from this is that buyer confidence is back 100%. There's no question about it. And if you're a buyer, what you need to keep in mind is, you know, it's more important than ever to be a qualified buyer, to have your financing in place, to understand the market conditions, because a lot of the properties, regardless of home type, if there isn't competition, they are selling very quickly in a couple days. So again, the trend line with the showings, you know, that's about all you need to know there. And then if we look at offers, we're almost back to pre-COVID levels here. Again, you can see things were really flat from the end of March to end of April, slowly started to rise. And then we've got some daily highs, 772 offers, 670 offers. Just for reference point, the absolute high before COVID was 894. So our post-COVID and pre-COVID offer day highs, I mean, they're not that different, you know, about 100 apart. So again, this really shows where things are going. Our low here was July 1st with 195, so that's self-explanatory there. But again, this just gives you a really good idea of where things are. And this is behind the, average sale price, days on market. These are the numbers that are driving those stats, which are more commonly reported. And then again, if we look here, this is last 30 days. So pretty consistent. I think what this tells us is we've probably gotten close to sort of the high we're going to be at, or close to that comfort level where the market is going to sit at for a while, at least until the fall comes. So again, our showing's pretty consistent week over week. Month over month, again, this gives you an idea. The blue trend line this month, the orange trend line last month, and again, just more examples of the increasing activity that we've seen in the market. And then this is week over week. Even over just a 7-day span, we're seeing a pretty big increase. Again, this Wednesday here, last Wednesday was Canada Day, so obviously that's a low. But if you look at the trend line, week over week, month over month, day over day, like we're seeing increases with showings. That drives the offer level, which again drives the price increases that we're seeing throughout the market. So we're gonna start here with our ERIN Mills report in south of ERIN Mills. So this is anything south of the 403, north of Dundas, west of Mississauga Road area, and east of kind of Ridgeway, Unity Gate area. So these are we're going to start with our condo apartments from 2019. So we've got, within this time span, which was from June 15th to July 15th. Again, we're doing this update middle of the month. So we're just doing from 15th to 15th as a comparison. So this was 2019. In the same time period, we had an average sale price of $440, average days on market of 16. So again, not a ton of sales in that time period in 2019, but gives you a decent idea of where the prices were at. And then if we jump to this year, again, about the same level of inventory, average sale price up about $100,000. The stats for this comparison, again, we had a little bit of higher priced units as well, but even if across the board, even if we had similar units that we're selling, there is a price increase, and the condo market continues to be a hot one, that's for sure. We're going to go into our condo townhouses, which since sort of COVID started to relax a bit and buyer confidence come back, this has been one of the most competitive and busiest markets. So these are our stats for last year, 2019, the 15th of July, or 15th of June to 15th of July. Our average sale price of $617, average days on market of 23. Again, skewed by a couple outliers. Obviously, there's a high here of 113. But if you look at our median in mode, that's kind of where it is, about 2 weeks, give or take a little bit here or there. So we've got a 617 average sale price. And then if we jump to this year, 668 average sale price, 10 units. So some good inventory comparisons for just a 30-day time span. So about a sale every 3 days. Days on market, 19. But again, that is skewed by a high here. If you look at our median, 8 days, which is, tells you all you really need to know. Place comes on, it's probably going to be sold within the week. And if they're not holding off on offers, probably less. So again, a good increase in the condo townhomes. And if you're a seller or someone who owns condo townhomes, maybe an investor, this might be a good time to look at pricing if you're looking to cash out or put your money somewhere else.
And that quick turnaround, Sean, would probably be obviously if they're priced correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. If they're priced correctly, at the end of the day, anyone can price their property at any price that they want. But again, if it's within market value and within where the comparables are, there's no reason why you shouldn't be selling, the condo townhomes in about a week or two. So we're going to start at or jump to our semis here. So last year from this same time period, we had 9 units, average sale price of $698. Even last year, if you look at it, a difference of just over, less than 1% over our list price. But again, on average, the properties are selling for what they're listed for. So, it just tells you where the strength of the market was even this point last year. So 698, an average days on market of 27. And then if we jump to this year, just really a staggering increase, 6 units and 843 average sale price. And again, this is in ERIN Mills, where a lot of the semis are quite comparable in terms of inventory. Obviously, renovation style and upgrades change that. But most of the semis are the same age, similar square footage, when you're comparing over a subset of the inventory. So 843 average sale price, average days on market of 8, selling for 105% of the asking. I think if you were to ask us as realtors or many other realtors what the market would look like, a couple months after the COVID pandemic hit, we wouldn't have told you that we would be seeing these numbers right now. So again, it's just more evidence that buyer confidence is back. There's not enough listings on the market right now, which makes sense that seller confidence has sort of lagged behind a little bit. But again, if this is any indication of what the rest of the year is, or at least what the rest of the summer is going to be, it's definitely a great time to be a seller right now. And then the detached market, which really lagged behind post-COVID compared to the condo townhomes and the semi-detached. So in April, in May, even in the beginning of June, the detached market wasn't as robust as those other subsets of the market were. But it's come back. You'll see with these prices here. So this is 2019. Again, the same time period, we had 14 units sold, an average sale price of $1,078,000, average days on market of 22. And then if we go to this year, 26 sold, so which is incredible. I mean, almost a sale a day, an average sale price of 1.236. When you get such a large subset of inventory, a sale every day, like you've really got a good mix of properties. Again, the low right here, 819, the high 1.8. So it's really showing you, all about or all throughout that detached market, different price points, different styles. Here's where the average sale price is, 13 days on market. Again, they're essentially selling for what they're listed for, a little bit under. So again, right now, I would say since the middle of June, the detached market has really started to pick up. And if you're an owner of a detached home or you're on the market right now, or you're thinking about listing, if you're priced correctly, or at least priced in that range of where comparables are selling for, the market's telling us that you'll do quite well. And this number for me, at least, is most staggering because it really lagged behind the other market subsets post-COVID, but the numbers are showing that it's back, and there's no signs of it slowing down, at least in the immediacy. So I'll send this back to Trina right now.
Great, thanks, Sean. Yeah, it's completely different. July and August are looking a little bit different than what a normal summer would look like, doesn't it? Because we typically slow down a little bit in the summertime.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everyone, most realtors can agree that this is our spring market. It just came late because, again, our spring was wiped out by the first 4 to 6 weeks of COVID. So this is our spring market, and it's probably a little busier than even last year's spring market, which didn't have the pandemic, which when you really think about it is just crazy to say that. But again, I just keep coming back to it. It tells you that buyer confidence is there. There's a lot of qualified buyers out there, and people are eager to move, eager to purchase property.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for that update on in ERIN Mills. It seems like it's explosive in ERIN Mills south of 403. We're going to have a look now at Central ERIN Mills and just see how we compare. Thanks, everybody, for joining us as well. I'm just going to pull up our stats here while we're chatting and take a look at how the market is in Central ERIN Mills north of 403. So we're going to start off with condo apartments. And we're going to start back in 2019. In 2019, we saw 17 sales, which is a lot of activity. You would expect that in this type of market. And we've seen an average sale price of $440,000 with 99 days, or sorry, 99% sale to list ratio, which is pretty good, almost full asking they were getting in 2019 for condos in Central Erin Mills. So now let's take a quick look at what's happening in 2020, in the same time period from June 15th to today. And what we're seeing is we also saw 17 sales, and as you can see, there was a significant average sale price, quite a bit higher at 540,000. And actually the average price was getting over asking at 101%. So that's pretty impressive that you're putting your home on the market and getting what you're asking for it in pretty quick time, 17 days on market as well. So that's actually a 18 plus percent increase from year over year, which is pretty significant. And we have pretty significant numbers, both going 17 sales in both departments in both years. So yeah, if you have a condo right now, now's the time to sell because you're going to maximize on it for sure. Moving on to condo townhomes. So we've seen in 2019, we've seen 7 sales in 2019 in this time period from June 15th, with an average sale price of $663. 929, and almost full asking again, 99% sale to list ratio. And if we move on to 2020, we also had 7 sales, so very compatible to last year at this time with the volume, and considering what we're facing with all the challenges out there, it really shows that the market has really picked up. Difference in price, $764, $857 compared to $661, $500, which is significantly different year over year. Again, we're seeing a 13+% increase in the sales price comparison, which again, double digits, is showing an explosive market starting to form in Central Erin Mills, north of 403. Let's move on to Freehold Townhomes now. Now, there isn't a lot of Freehold Townhomes in Central Erin Mills. There's only a few streets that have them. So we haven't seen a lot of activity altogether in 2019 or 2020 for that matter. In 2019, we saw, as we can see here, we saw 2 sales in that 30-day period with an average sale price of $796,500, basically getting full asking as well. This was last year's statistics. So we haven't had any sales in the last 30 days in this department in Freehold Townhomes. So I just went back and pulled what's happened in 2020 since that time period, and we've only had 2 sales in 2020. So if you have a Freehold Townhome, it's probably going to be in pretty high demand right now. We did see an average sale price in 2020 for those 2 that sold at $812,500. So a marginal increase of 2%, but I think with more volume, we'll see an increase in pricing similar to the condos. Moving on to semi-detached for 2019, we saw 5 sales with an average price of $760,600. Again, almost full asking at 99% in 2019. And if we move to 2020, I'm going to take a look at, whoops, pardon me, that's the wrong slide. This is real, we do make mistakes. In 2020, we also didn't have any sales in semis. So I just pulled up the stats on that. And we have had 3 sales this year in 2020. So again, properties that would be in high demand would be semi-detached homes. And the average sale price went up significantly to $876,167. And again, double-digit numbers of 13+% in sales volume and sales prices. Again, significant. We're seeing increases sharply in pricing going up because there is not enough supply and lots of demand right now for people getting into homes. Moving finally into detached homes in Central Erin Mills for 2019. We saw 11 sales from June 15th to July 15th with an average sale price of $1,056,253 and a 96% sale to list ratio with 19 days on average, which the detached homes do tend to take a little longer to sell because well, not as many people can afford them. So moving on to 2020 as a comparison, we can see that we had more sales in 2020 than 2019, which is really impressive considering what we're going through. We actually had 19 sales compared to 11 sales last year, and a significant price change of 1.232895. As we can see here where the cursor is, kind of a lot of numbers to get out, with a higher asking percentage of 98% compared to 96 last year. And when we look at the numbers, so I just wrote it down here, let me just take a look. That's a 14+% increase in average sale price, with 11 sales last year and 19 sales this year. That really shows detached home prices have skyrocketed, along with pretty much everything that we've seen in condos and the smaller semis and freeholds. We've seen prices year over year at this time point significantly rise, which, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty in the future, and the buyers are out there looking for the right property. And so the sellers, you know, if you're thinking about selling and in 2020, it might be a good time to think about it sooner than later, with all the changes that are coming down in the future with job losses and things like that. I think we'll talk about that at the end as well. So anyways, I'm just going to clear this, go back to the main screen here. And I think Trina's going to have a few words to say and ask some questions. So thanks for watching Central ERIN Mills, and enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Good. So an internet question came in, Sean, and the viewer says that the question is, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but where do you see the rest of the year playing out and going into 2021?
Yeah, the old prediction question, which is always a tricky one to answer. But I think for the immediacy, the rest of July, rest of August, we're going to see a very similar market to what we're seeing right now. I would just look to what the banks announce. If mortgage deferrals stay, look to unemployment rates. If those stay or even get worse, I think there will be some people who are forced to put their home on the market, which will level out that difference of the supply and demand, which is, you know, demand's way outweighing the supply right now. I think too that if someone has lost their job, you know, in March or April, they may have been able to hold on throughout May, June, July, you know, 3 to 4 months. A lot of people kind of have that type of savings available to them. But if we start getting into the 6 to 12 month range of unemployment, there's not a lot of people who have accounted for that. And, you know, so just look to the banks, see what they do with their mortgage deferrals. If you are considering selling, I wouldn't wait till the fall. I have a couple clients right now who they're doing everything they can to get their home ready for August, because whether the deferrals are extended or not, they don't want to wait and see. They'd rather know the certainty we have right now. And then if the fall market takes a dip, great, they've already sold. And if it's fine, that's okay, because they sold in a good market as well. So.
Based on our experience, you know, like you said earlier, we haven't really had we didn't have a fall market at all. And we're starting to see the beginnings of that. And that probably will carry into, so we didn't have a spring market, it'll carry into the fall markets. We'll start to see more properties coming on the market, which could increase the competition, which could essentially lower prices a little bit if there's more inventory than buyers.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Like I would say as a seller right now, you know, with all the factors we're dealing with, it's about as best case scenarios you probably could have predicted, all things considered. So, you know, I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't try and get a little greedy and see if the prices keep going up and up. This is a great time. We're above last year. We're above 2017, which was considered one of the, you know, best sellers market in GTA history. So, you know, deal with the info we have right now. If you want to wait, I mean, go ahead. But I think the fall is going to bring a lot of uncertainty that it may not be wise to wait and see what that brings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're kind of in a similar situation like we were in spring of 2017, where you know, the analogy I always used to use with clients is that wanted to wait to see where the market would go is if you were to go up a roller coaster with, you know, your eyes covered and you couldn't see where you're going and you could feel that you were going up, but you never know when you're about to go down or going down until you're about halfway down. Mm-hmm. So it's always good, like Sean said, like you said, to deal with what we have in front of us, and because you never know what the future is going to hold. So just wanted to thank everybody for attending, watching, coming out. all of our supporters of the Hanlon Real Estate team. We really, really appreciate everybody who supports us and does business with you. You know, you become lifelong friends, and we really, really appreciate everybody's business. So if you do have any questions about your particular area or more detailed information about the ERIN Mills or Central ERIN Mills area, again, give us a call at 905-271-5141 or email us at info@thehanlonteam.com. And always, if you're in the ERIN Mills, Central ERIN Mills area, watch for our newsletters, our flyers, and pretty soon you're going to start to see our open house signs. We're not in phase 3 yet, but once we do, we'll be able to start hosting some open houses. So you'll see our signs around the neighborhood on the weekend. So we're going to hang on for a minute or two just to see if anybody has any remaining questions. If you do, type them in the box below. We'll stay on for maybe about 30 seconds to a minute, and then we'll let everybody go. So, okay, again, thanks for attending and have a great day. Enjoy the weather.